Hey, what's up, everybody? It's me, Danae, and I'm here with a message for you. Today, I would like to do a pick a card reading or pick a pile reading. For pile number 1, we have a yellow flower. For pile number 2, we have an orange flower. Yes, these are real from my very own vase that were on their way out, so I thought it would be a good visual for today's reading. So while you are picking your pile, I just want to give some color, pun intended, to the choices for today. So pile 1 is yellow, the yellow flower, and that symbolizes optimism and creative confidence. And one word, joy. It's also representative of the solar plexus chakra, which is responsible for our ability to feel confident and in control of our lives. That's pile 1. Pile 2, the orange flower, is representative of, symbolizes enthusiasm and emotional strength. And one word, fun. It also is connected to the sacral chakra, which is responsible for how we experience sexuality, creative expression, emotions, and more. So at this time, I invite you to pick your pile, what flower you feel most connected to. And without further ado, we're going to get started. So, bam. Pile 1. The lovely yellow flower. Let's see what thus saith the cards for you. All right. All right, let's see. We got the Hierophant, the Empress, the World card, and the Temperance. Wow, some heavy hitters in this pile. The Temperance and the 7 of Wands. Okay, let's see what we got here. And then I'll look at the bottom and top in just a moment. All right, so we got the Hierophant, the Empress, the World card, the Temperance, and the 7 of Wands. So this is definitely like we're talking about some heavy hitter energy here, a powerful entity and also individual. And then we got the World card, which symbolizes the end of old cycles and the beginning of new. And Temperance is the presence of angelic force, or the connectivity of angelic force, and also alchemy in the sense of spiritual matter into physical essence and the protection of, wow. So whomever this is, whomever you are, you have great favor. That's what I see. There's great favor here and protection for, it's like, this is the physical protection, which is on account of the angelic force from an ethereal perspective. But this is also what keeps you safe and sound in the earth in a very physical way. And it's on account of, I would say, the manifestation in the natural of this protection is connected to the divine alignment that one has surrendered to, one has submitted to, that integrity of this individual to perhaps leave old cycles of creativity behind and to look ahead toward new opportunities that are more spiritually focused and influenced. that is what, because there's a lot going on in the world today. If you haven't noticed, it's pretty prevalent. And each and every day, one has to have gratitude for just not only waking up, but also just managing the wiles of the world, and let alone surviving and thriving it. And this is just a clear indication that there's favor from every universal perspective. My goodness, like literally, this is representative of God, but it's also societal structures and like the conventions of society that we submit to. So there's some reverence or connection there. And I'm going to say with the Empress. The Empress is the signature piece here for me. Unless this Hierophant is an individual too, and then there's some union of sorts, which also kind of makes a little bit of sense. But I'm seeing it more so like there's favor amongst man and amongst the heavens. The world is really at the fingertips of this Empress here. She's got God on her side. She's in alignment with the new world order. She's flowing with the universal order as it is in a physical sense. She has the angelic realms at her fingertips, at her beck and call, and also has been empowered to protect herself even in the most natural sense, in addition to all the heavenly force that is backing her as well. Let me just see what's on the top. Maybe that'll give me even more. Wow. And this is why, because there's been a choice of, like I said, of choosing higher self, of establishing and allowing the divine ordinance to establish self as the Empress, the highest queen of all the queens, all of them wrapped up in one. And this is just really signifying that there's been some mastery of all the aspects of, like very connected to the solar plexus, as a matter of fact. This confidence, and control over life in every sense of her character. There's an implication that all of the queens are wrapped up into one when you see the Empress on the throne. She's a master of her emotions, her spirit, her energy and power and creativity, her love. She's selective in love and protective of her love. She is masterful in material. She knows how to make money or maintain wealth and create new wealth. Anything I missed? Swords, wands, pentacles, and that's all of them. She's all of that and more, pretty much. And it's really, we can exalt ourselves in any area or the other. Truly, we can say, anyone can say I'm the Empress, but there's a certain test and trial that one has to, like, this is what that gives me here, as a matter of fact, the Seven of Wands. There are certain test and trial that one face to be ordained in such a position, and also the choice in the first place, the intention to be master of self in a holistic way. I guess it would be the choice first and foremost, the intention and the will to do so, for the heavens and ethereal force from the most universal source to, the angelic realms, to even in the earth, to get behind that intention and help to procreate with it. As I always like to say, we're the active agents in the earth. There's nothing that can truly be done through us without our acceptance and compliance with it, our co-creativity with the universal force. This can also be a blocking card, to be we say stand your ground, but it can also be someone that is very protective against energies that would want to either attack her grounding and her foundation, or to just sway it or distract it or come against it in some way, to just pretty much knock her off of the certainty of her confidence, to be an obstruction to her confidence, which is ultimately that key to creativity. Wand energy also being creativity. And it's not very hard to be swayed by the walls of the world, as I've said, because we are bombarded with projections and propaganda every single day. So to have come through these obstructions and these projections in the way that one can say that they stand on their creativity above all else, literally above all else, is a great feat to have accomplished in this world. That definitely gains you the support of the celestials, and also, satisfaction in spirit and in truth in the life that you're creating. So that, oh my gosh, and then the star card, this is amazing. Wow. Yeah, and here's that. I wasn't even going to speak on it because I'm not really doing it that way at this time, but this is that obstruction that I'm talking about. Those, and it could even come from a societal standpoint, and it could be family and friends. It could be on either end of the spectrum as to how things that one needs to withstand to really shine as the star that they are. And this is a great implication of the solar plexus and the color yellow, as I have identified this pile and this flower, of just really allowing yourself to shine in your own unique identity, having surrendered to the highest source and force that you submit to, but not to the societal standards of the world and the projections that are imposed upon you. You don't get to be the empress by bowing down and conforming to the ways of society as they are now, particularly because the popular flow of society as it is very much so more conformity conscious than it is creative conscious. Even though we like it, there's like a facade of that on the outside, but in a very general sense, there's still some confinement even in the creativity that is encouraged from a societal point of view, even from a lower, or I'll say just a lesser vibration of the Hierophant, which doesn't represent God in the more universal sense, in the holistic presence of the spirit of source. It means the authorities that have elevated themselves and positioned themselves to govern over the ways of the world or the ways of society, the masses in a sense. It's corporations, it's religion, it's politics. That's the Hierophant in a lesser vibration of God, where it's a superior force and one that's in a position of authority, but it's not of the all-knowing source that that I submit to anywhere, that I can relate to in its most infinite and unlimited sense. There's an implication here that even still, this Empress has found some way to still satisfy. It's like she hasn't bowed down to the conformity of society, but she hasn't necessarily bucked at it either. There are some people that are just rebellious for rebellion's sake. They're rebels without a cause, and a lot of times those are the ones that get picked off first because there's not a lot of control and focus in the rebellion. There's one thing to just not conform and to be solid on, stand firm on your authenticity and your identity in this most organic sense. And there's another way to just, as I said, just be rebellious for the sake of being obstinate or anti the system. There is a sense here that this Empress finds the value in things that have value, so that it's not like throw the whole system away or throw the whole world away or, throw the whole religion away and all the politics. It's like she's balanced enough and objective enough in her own identity to really observe what is of value of reality, and take pretty much like eat the meat and spit out the bones type of thing, and I think that's really where her triumph really comes in, is that she can stand her ground perfectly secure and sound as she is, and not necessarily needing to fight any of these wands that are coming up against her. Like she's perfectly whole and complete, taking the stance and the point of view that she feels most grounded by, and nobody else has to suffer for it. So it means that she can have confidence and security in who she is without putting others down or without rejecting the ideals of what others may even subscribe to, or without damning all the way to hell the very society that she is a contributing force of and to. That there's something good and there's something of God ultimately in everything and in all things, if you're willing to perceive it that way and receive it that way. And that's ultimately what elevates her to be the star that she is, that she's confident enough to shine bright without dimming anybody else's light, and also open enough to, what's the right word? Like she's open enough to the evolution of society and of change and culture and every which way, the evolution of creation in general. She's open enough to that, enough to it to allow that to flow with that as well. It's not like she's trying to hold it back and contain it for novelty's sake. She's not. She reverences what is good. She takes that with her or receives that as she will. She resists or releases anything that's not in alignment with the vibration of creativity that she's on, the wavelength that she's on. And it's like she literally lives and lets live. She's most conscious of her life and what her life is creating in the earth than she is about, number one, what others are doing or creating, and number two, what is being imposed or impressed upon her to create, if that makes sense. So I think this is cool. And I will say that with the Lovers card here, it could be an implication that this is a partnership of some sorts, a counterpart of someone who is centered, and balanced in some high authoritative position, a teacher of sorts even, which the Hierophant can be. And the Empress, with the Empress, there's some uniting force that is changing the world ultimately, or is set to change the world, or the presence of, it's like someone that is just as prominent in their presence is just as prominent, but in a different way. I can't really grasp what that way is, but obviously the Hierophant and the Empress they're unique in their authority and in their positions of power, but still very, in the highest vibration, still very exalted too. And there's something about the union of sorts, sacred in its nature, and the Hierophant also definitely signifies marriage, that is shifting the evolution of the world in a major way, and maybe allowing for this angelic force to be more prevalent in the earth than it has been distant before. Whereas now people are much more open to their own spiritual exaltation, because this is like literally an angel that can exist in two realms, you know, in heaven and in earth, in a sense, you know, in a very intangible way, but also in a very tangible way. And that can make matter in the same regard, literally alchemize spiritual essence into physical matter. And that more or less is what we're all being called to, you know, to stand our ground on our own special abilities, these gifts that, as the stars that we are, that we have acquired, you know, from an ethereal sense, maybe that we've been protective of or even resistant to in some way, shape, or form, but that are very much so present and prevalent and can add value to the overall quality of life that we're all experiencing. There's something about these divine unions that are coming into play that are opening the gates. Oh, Lionsgate is coming up August 8th, opening the gates for this creativity to manifest in a physical form, and for people to be more open to, you know, how they get to contribute in special ways, and give also equipping one of those, equipping them to protect that essence as well, you know, because a lot of us didn't even know how special we were, and now, you know, a lot other people knew how special you were, especially if this is your pile, yellow flower, before you did, or even more so than you did. And you weren't really in the conscious position to protect your creativity, let alone in the confident position to stand your ground on it and, you know, value it as something highly favored. But all of this, as I said from the very beginning, this is about someone that is highly favored and exalted in a spiritual sense and in a natural sense. That these, now that it's coming along on the back end of this message, it makes a lot of sense that there's so much, you know, highly exalted essence and celestial essence in a sense, with the star card, and then the Lover's card is an angel here, the Temperance card here, the Hierophant, the World card, the Empress, the highest queen in the deck. There's something to be said about the special gift that you are to this world, and that you have to offer in, you know, the most intimate ways and in the most general and universal ways. And yes, there is a call to definitely protect your passion, protect your power, guard it with your heart, but also to know that it already is protected, you know, that you can do your part as you feel guided to, but that you don't necessarily have to feel like, you know, you don't have to be guarded to the point where some of us have been, where you don't want to express it, where you feel like it's in danger of being attacked or being manipulated or resisted. You don't even have to worry about those things, to be honest. You know, protect yourself again as you feel sensibly guided to do so, but not to the point where you resist sharing, because it's sharing and really admitting this energy of light and creativity that is right up here under the World card, that is shifting the creative consciousness for all in a very inspirational way, so that when people see your light shining, they'll know that they have that, you know, they have that possibility within themselves as well. And there's that divine invitation to creativity that will ultimately lift us all up, you know. Lord, lift us up where we belong. I just heard that. Literally lifting the creative consciousness to a new vibration that is far more prosperous and productive than the lower nature that we've been existing on, you know, thus far, you know. So protect your peace, protect your passion, protect your creativity for sure, but definitely, especially with the solar plexus energy, this yellow flower, definitely create expressively with confidence, to know that you are invited. It's like a special invitation from the universe for you specifically to do that special thing that you do, and to know that not only is it protected, it's encouraged, and it's literally, it's like there's the world depending on it in some special way. Whatever it is that you have to offer makes all the difference to creation overall. Hope that makes sense. I'm gonna leave it there. That was a really powerful message, honestly, but I feel like I could extract more out of it, but I won't. Let's move on to pile 2. All right. Alrighty. I just feel like the Hierophant gotta stay there. All right. I think it's like that. Pile number 2, the beautiful orange flower, which honestly is my favorite. It's just so full and fabulous. Makes me happy. All right, so let's see what we got, pile 2. We got the High Priestess. Technically, she came out first and then this. So I'm gonna switch this around, but we'll see if that makes a difference. And we got the Page of Cups. So we got the High Priestess. Move this up a little bit. Got the High Priestess, the 5 of Wands, and the Page of Cups with the King of Pentacles. Let's try to get one more since I think I had 5 on the board for pile 1. Can I get one more, Spirit? Oh, we got 2. All right. Like that. So we got 6 cards for you, pile 2. You got a bonus card. Once again, I'm not sure if I should re-switch these because of how they came out, but let's just see how it goes. All right, and I'll do the top and bottom in just a moment. So we got the High Priestess, the 5 of Wands, the Page of Cups, the King of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, and the 9 of Pentacles. So we got some secret competition here. All right. So just like pile 1, the star of the show more or less was the Empress. The star of the show was the High Priestess in this one. We have someone who is definitely looking to steal the show here in the middle with the King of Pentacles, Page of Cups, the 9 of Swords, and then this competition. Well, I'm gonna just, so anyway, there's some secrets that are to be revealed about some underlying competition, some chaos, some confusion. It's coming to light in some regard as to some things that have been going on behind the scenes or under the surface. On account of that, here's the Page of Cups who's making some emotionally driven offer. It could be an apology, could be some expression of endearment. It could be condolences, regrets. I'm getting the sense that it's somehow a little bit more on the low vibrational side of regrets, sandwiched in the middle between this 5 of Wands competition and the 9 of Swords which actually absolutely is about anxiety and some fear of the future. Yeah, okay. So there was an individual that was, just to say it plain out and straight, there's an offering of emotional constitution, that wants to be made by this Page of Cups, coming from someone who once was more materially focused. He perhaps was more driven in work or making money, or just being stable in a very physical way. And now there is an incitement to want to make an offering of love, perhaps, and perhaps, some regrets for the the distorted focus, but there's too much competition to get through now. It's almost like where once upon a time he might have been a front runner to make an offering to the high priestess. Now that offer is kind of like being lost in the shuffle of what may be either many suitors or just the many ways that her attention is diverted now. Once upon a time, he could have been the central focus, but now it's like, with a King of Pentacles and a Page of Cups, there's a great disparity there in prominence, to be from a king's point to a child's place. There's some depreciation of value in this offer, and it has changed in nature, because it could be the Page of Pentacles, which would be more in alignment with the King of Pentacles, that even if it is a small offer, it's still of his true essence. But there's some deflection here with the Cups and the Pentacles and then the Five of Wands, that just makes me uncomfortable. It's a very small offer coming from a king, even of a cup nature, and what I'm sensing is that not only is there competition to cut through, but this offer also comes with some confusion. That's what it is. When I originally said that there was some hidden competition or some chaos under the surface that's unseen, it's like this King of Pentacles may be positioning and presenting himself to be of high stature, very stable and nurturing, and of high value in essence, which is the highest vibration of the King of Pentacles. But if that is the case, why so stressed? Why are you so anxious? There's something distorted here in this presentation. And then this offer, why so small? Coming from a king to a high priestess, there should just be some I would expect some greater value, of an offer for all of his prestige, But it's because there's some stronghold on this offer. There's some energetic stronghold, and there's some mental stronghold that keeps this offer from being something more fulfilling and more, just more prosperous. And, you got to at least come with the Ace of Cups, or by God, the Knight, for the high priestess, and just pray to God, she has some grace for the offer itself, just for the sheer nerve to make it through, to bring it through. But it's minimal for a reason, because there's something tainted about it, with that fish in the cup. There's something that is not fully pure and authentic about this love or this apology or this expression of endearment, accolades, whatever it is, maybe even flattery that the Page of Cups is bringing to this high priestess. There's something's not right about it. You know, it's either going to come with a lot of confusion and chaos and bring that to that high priestess, or it's on account of some confusion and chaos incurred or even created by this so-called King of Pentacles, in which now he's in a depressive state and an anxious state, and looking upon the high priestess in her essence here as the Nine of Pentacles, as someone that really doesn't want for much, you know. So of course he would try to exalt himself as the King of Pentacles, which is the only thing that could really and truly be appealing to someone in the Nine of Pentacles as she is, you know, that's independent, single, assured, stable, secure in her own energetic vibration. She, you know, she's balanced in spirit and in truth. She would only be intrigued by an upgrade, which is why it behooves this individual to present himself as a King of Pentacles, because that's pretty much the only thing that would get her to bat an eye. But I guess the point here is that you being in a high priestess position, Orange Flower, you know, you have a certain sensibility and alignment that would allow you to see beyond the veil, that literally would have you see beyond this confusion here to the true nature of this offer. Don't second guess that. You know, don't think for a second that this coin is shinier than what you've already cultivated for yourself. And this is clout in a spiritual sense, because that's what the Nine of Pentacles suggests and implies, that the spiritual seeds that she has sown in a solitary spirit and nature are the very things that have manifested in a material nature. You know, it's like she has clout with spirit and with man, you know, and if no other man, just within herself, you know, because she literally can touch and taste and smell and hear and experience the fruits of her labor. Those seeds that she's sown spiritually and energetically. She has tangible receipts for her investments. The King of Pentacles has the projection of this prosperity, but his receipts are not in alignment. You know, he's wearing the costume, he's wearing the kingly robe, but at night he's stripped down to nothing. You know, when he's alone with himself, this is who he is. What he truly has to offer is a page and with a tainted cup. What he truly brings to the table is confusion and chaos. Someone as the high priestess and the Nine of Pentacles would be completely brought down to connect her vibration to that energetic force. It wouldn't be an upgrade for the King of Pentacles in the sense, you know, that all would be well served. You know, it would be at a great sacrifice to the frequency and vibration that the high priestess at the Nine of Pentacles has already cultivated in her own right, between she and her divine alignment, the source that she submits to. More simply put, she did the work to sit in the seat. You know, her receipts match up, they align. The King of Pentacles he's had some activity that doesn't allow him to wake up being the King of Pentacles and to go to sleep being the King of Pentacles. It's some mask of sorts, some facade that's being presented for his own pride and ego, and for whatever his personal what do you call it? His dang, I can't think of the word. I hate when this happens to me. His his own personal interest, his self-interest. Yeah, see, it's his self-interest that he projects himself, in this way to glamour with his presentation and to give some small offer, is something that is doable, it's something, but it's not a match for the standard of a high priestess, and also for someone who's completely independent and self-sufficient. It would end up creating a codependent dynamic in which the high priestess would be the sacrifice. All right, so just be thoughtful about Prince Charming's coming to offer you the world, especially given Mercury retrograde. I think we're in the shadow period as of probably the 8th or after, because I think it starts on August 23rd, and usually it's about 15 days or so, like 2 weeks of pre-shadow phase where the planet's starting to slow down, and that's when that energy starts to most impact us in an earthly sense, from a universal perspective, and people come back to hash out unfinished business, or to extend old offers with some new inflection, and it could be personally or professionally, especially with the Pentacle energy here. It could be someone that's offering some investment opportunity or a job opportunity, or wanting to collaborate creatively with what you have going on, in a very material sense, either bringing their ideas or saying that they have a seed to sow into what you're creating, or they can be of some contributing factor to elevate you because they've already established themselves as the King of Pentacles. Be clear, be thoughtful in the most supremely spiritual sense of any offers that are coming to the table, no matter how familiar or fresh they may appear. Not discriminatory toward either side, because something that is old can play on the familiarity of connection and emotional. This is like an emotional attachment, and can play on your emotionality, which I think is, that's connected to orange as well, about your emotional strength. And it can play on like an emotional attachment that once was prevalent, to kind of garner some trust for whatever this offer is. And then something fresh, as the Page of Cups can also be, something new, something different from what you're used to, that can be presented as well as some added value to High Priestess, is like an ancient being. And the Nine of Pentacles is someone that's kind of been pretty complacent in her creativity. She's pretty comfortable. So something new and fun and exciting being presented could be tempting as well. But ultimately, ask the Spirit to reveal the fine print and everything that you're being offered. The fine print of the people, places, and things that are presenting themselves to be suitors and potential partners in any regard at this time. Because it'll be much more of a burden than it will be a blessing, simply put. And let's see, Wheel of Fortune, wow. Because people are looking to, like, this is what I hear off the bat with the Wheel of Fortune. People are looking to offset their karma. Remember I was saying, like, the King of Pentacles was up to something for him to be stressed out. Like, when you can't sleep, something's going on. You've connected yourself to some energy, or some energy is connected to you, because there's no other reason for spiritual dis-ease and unrest than a lack of divine alignment. And this is exactly what I'm talking about. This implies that what it appears to be, this is like double from the 5 of Wands to the 10 of Wands. That means that what it appears to, it's even worse than you thought. And it's like people, to the point of, the King of Pentacles having some some skeletons that he's looking to, I don't know. I don't even know what you do with skeletons. Bury, perhaps, I guess, because this is the karmic wheel. You know, this is when you reap what you sow. And a lot of people are looking to offset their karmic experiences with energies and individuals that can balance it. You know, the high priestess is a lady of grace, so you could be played on for your emotional, for your grace and for your compassion, as well as your pentacles and your material, to create some space of healing and sanctity for someone that's in distress. That's another way that you could be manipulated. Someone that's coming to you and actually sharing their burdens and their anxieties in a way that pulls on your heartstrings and makes you want to help and heal. But this karma wheel, this burden will become, just like I literally said before I turned over the card, it'll be more of a burden than a blessing. You don't earn in this time. You're not earning any cool points for sacrificing yourself for the sake of others, especially those that ultimately you're not ordained or assigned to help and to heal. You actually will be drawing more of an energetic imbalance to yourself. Like when you take on somebody else who's carrying a load like this, then that load becomes yours. And like I said, it was funny when it was the Five of Swords, which the Five of Wands, which is just kind of like more, it can even just be just simple competition, you know, almost like a sports game or something like that, like creative competition it could be. The Ten of Swords is not that. The Ten of Swords are burdens that are carried voluntarily, and in this sense, to me, is speaking of the actions of this King of Pentacles coming back to roost. You know, those chickens coming back to roost, in the sense of whatever he had connected himself with, now he's having to carry that burden. Now it's his choice as to how he gets to offload that, and right now he wants his choice to be you or anybody or anybody that will help, but it's absolutely your choice as to whether or not you get to align with that. And given the energy on the board, I would, and the Wheel of Fortune coming up, I would say that it's not worth absorbing someone else's karmic force for the sake of just saying you were a good person to do so. You know, in the High Priestess energy, well, you know, like making yourself some martyr or some saint for the sake of someone else's healing and or elevation or prosperity. God is not rewarding anybody for that in this time. If anything, it'll be a detriment to you, and you'll only have yourself to blame ultimately, because it was within the power of your will. Really, as the Nine of Pentacles, you get to decide how your life plays out, what investments you make, what investments you take, what's in alignment with you, what gets to have a seat in your garden, what seeds get to be planted in your garden, how you share the produce of your harvest. You know, that really is a solitary, sovereign spiritual authority to sit in, as you only answer to source with the High Priestess energy here. The only thing that you have to answer to or to prove yourself to is the highest source that you submit to. Nobody in the earth is entitled to any essence of you beyond that. Okay, so definitely guard your spirit, protect your assets, and be very selective in spirit and in truth about whom you connect with. Simply. All right, because it is a matter of life and death out here, and karma is contagious. So if it's not yours to bear, then you don't need to share. Period. All right. So that's that on that, you know. And of course, I'm not talking about being benevolent by, your ordinance to be so, because there are people that, as I said, we're assigned to be a blessing to, but there are certainly those that are looking just to make you the bearer of their burdens, and that is not the calling of any higher source or force at this time. You don't have to get on anybody's cross for the sake of saying that you did so. Already been done and seen. All right, so that's that. Pick a card, yellow and orange. Hope you enjoyed. Till next time, peace.